We all are super excited today because we have invited an edupreneur, Riddhi Savla, who is super talented, who has been in this industry, education industry, since last 11 years, and her experience is far more better. She has got international exposure and she understands what is the value of international education, as well how to give right channel to a child right from childhood. So, for the beginners, as parents, this Lock Talk is very, very informative. Do watch it and enjoy it. Hi Riddhi, welcome to Lock Talk, and we all are super excited to meet you to understand what is education in this modern world. So, here I ask you my first question. It is, how did you get into teaching profession or education space? Can you please explain us?
Hi Rita, thank you so much for having me a part of Lock Talk, which is a wonderful initiative that you've begun in this lockdown. So I congratulate Sparkle Entertainment and you, Rita, for this amazing initiative and this amazing idea where all of us can watch other people's accomplishments through your videos and get motivated and inspired. And thank you once again for having me and considering that sharing my experiences will inspire someone else out there. To answer your first question, what got me into education or the teaching space or profession? It was a chance encounter, Rita. When you're 16 or 17, just stepping out of grade 12, you don't really know much about career options or professions or what you want to do in life. That's such a big decision. Thankfully for me, I was part of SNDT University, and in the first 2 months of being in that course, being around children, I realized that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Because जब बच्चों के साथ रहते हैं, तो you realize that you can be happy every day. Imagine a profession or a career where you get happiness every day because children are naturally happy. All they have is a lot of curiosity, a lot of questions, which gives you satisfaction when you answer them because you are engaging in someone else's learning. So इससे ज़्यादा खुशी की कोई profession नहीं हो सकती according to me, and I'm lucky and blessed that I got into this path of teaching, which is considered a noble profession all across the globe. Yes, lucky, fortunate, that's what you can say, and hung on there because children are creatures, the only creatures probably in the world who don't care about the past, who don't worry about the future. They only live in the present. और ये एक बहुत बड़ी चीज है जो बच्चों ने मुझे सिखाई है. Living in the present, enjoying every moment, and only worrying about happiness in the present moment.
Riddhi, after leading multiple international schools across the country, why did you choose to be an entrepreneur now? Or what is the inspiration behind Ikigai Global Prep School? As well, we would like to understand the meaning of Ikigai.
Rita, I love that question. Why did I choose to be an entrepreneur, or in current terms, an edupreneur now after 11 years of being in this industry? As part of my previous job profiles, Rita, as you are aware, I've worked with a lot of national and international schools in Bombay previously, headed a lot of sections, been around training a lot of teachers. In the last 4 years, I was assisting my mentor, Fatima Agarkar, in her company, which set up over 30 schools all over India and a couple of them abroad. So basically, I was helping people start up their own schools, training their teachers, recruiting the teachers, looking at admissions, curriculum, the entire gamut of services that go into starting up their own school. And after 11 years of being in this space, I realized maybe now is the time to realize my papa's dream. My dad's dream has always been that Riddhi should have her own school, which is the reason I think I stepped into being an edupreneur, like you said. The main purpose or the main reason I thought it's time to do this now is because where I live, where I've been born, brought up and live, which is Matunga, I had a lot of friends who were having children, and they would always call me up and say, Riddhi, what's a good preschool that I can put my child in? And it was unfortunate, Rita, that I did not have a quality preschool to name in and around where we live. Yes, there are a couple of preschools, but I'm not sure if those are the spaces where children can be themselves, they can grow, they can learn, and they turn into holistic individuals. So I thought Matunga really needs that space, which is why I've taken the leap and I am now realizing my dream, which is now called Ikigai Global Prep School. To answer your second question, which is what is Ikigai? What does it mean? Ikigai is a Japanese concept, and I read a book about it about two years ago now. The concept from Japan is a healthy lifestyle concept which says how do you live life to remain healthy, happy, and successful till the day you die. It's a beautiful concept. To put it in simple words, Rita, what is the reason that you wake up every morning and feel excited? What makes you jump out of bed every morning? That is your Ikigai. And sadly, a lot of us adults have not even figured out our purpose or our Ikigai in life yet. Like for me, I know that being around children and teaching them and hanging around with them is my Ikigai. And that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. That's the reason I wake up every morning and feel excited. I know, Rita, for you, you love planning events and weddings and making people's days special. That's your Ikigai. I want my children and all the families that land up to become Ikigai's, I want them to figure out what is their purpose, what makes them happy, so that they can turn that into their profession. So that going to work is never a pain, but it's an exciting journey every single day. That's what Ikigai means, and that's my purpose with Ikigai Global Prep School.
Riddhi, nowadays the biggest problem for all parents is kids' screen time is increasing more and more. So can you please explain us how can parents balance between the screen time or digital lives of children in the entire day, and according to their age also you'll have to explain us.
Rita, that is a question that I get a lot of times, especially during parent workshops. Riddhi, how do we balance screen time? How do we take away that phone from our little child? My first and foremost answer to them, Rita, is to role model. Parents are the best and the biggest role models for a child. So if a papa or a mama wakes up in the morning and the first thing they do is pick up their phones and start checking WhatsApp or Insta or Facebook, trust me, the child is going to follow that because he realizes if mom and dad are doing it, it's probably the right thing to do. Versus if you're a parent who wakes up and reaches out to the newspaper, or puts on TV to listen to news, or puts on TV to look at Discovery, the child realizes these are valuable things. That's why my mama and papa are doing them. Probably I should do them as well. So I feel the amount of phone or tab or gadget usage that a parent does is directly proportional to the usage that a child is going to do. Secondly, in this day and age, especially during lockdown, I think we all as parents need to ease out a little bit because we ourselves are using screens so much to kind of, go through life. We have not much to do except household chores. So it's okay if your child is indulging in a little excess screen time than required, because ultimately it's going to go away once things become normalized. Thirdly, I think we as parents now need to accept that online learning is the way forward. I mean, there is a pre-corona world and there's going to be a post-corona world. And the post-corona world, which consists of physical distancing, online courses are going to boom. For the very little ones, of course, we can indulge in more stories and games and informative videos with them. But for the older ones, like I myself during the lockdown, sitting at home, have done 2 courses, one from Harvard, one from Stanford, online. So not all screen time is bad, but what screen time are you exposing your little one to is very important, and parents can control that. So giving them YouTube and asking them to have their meal is not the right thing to do. Enroll them in the right summer programs, online summer courses for their age group, so that they learn something, and then that's good screen time as well. Lastly, I want to explain an important point, which is digital natives versus digital immigrants. Now, you and I, Rita, and all parents who are born before 2005 are digital immigrants. Means we have migrated from a world without technology into a world with technology. But all those children who are born after 2005 right up to 2020 are digital natives. That means ये उनका गांव है. They are born in this space of technology and screens. So if there's any parent out there who says, I'm going to keep my child away from gadgets and technology till they turn 15 or 16, I'm sorry, you're doing your child more harm than good. Because in tomorrow's world, after 15, 20 years, the professions that will be existing will all be dependent on technology. And if your child doesn't know how to handle that right from a very young age, he will probably be at the back end. So give them technology, but the right and appropriate technology, that's very, very important.
Riddhi, a very important question coming for you is, nowadays the trend is everyone chooses international board schools. Which according to you is best board and why?
A slightly tricky question, that one, Rita. Which is a good academic board and why? I think that completely depends on the parents and the family. That's choosing or making that decision, because how much time can you give as a parent towards your child's education, that will vary, and based on that you choose an academic board. ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ IB और Cambridge और international boards best है. SSC, CBSE, ICSE are not that good. That is a misconception. If you are a parent who cannot give too much time to your child and who believes in holistic development, who doesn't want their child to go to too many extracurricular classes after school, must look at an international school like an IB or Cambridge school, because within their timetable they have fitted in their sport, their extracurriculars, their music, dance, everything is embedded in the Cambridge and the IB curriculum. So sham ko the child does not need to go to extra classes, because that's all taken care of in the school. Also, it's a practical way of teaching and learning versus a CBSE or an ICSE or a state board school, which is a little more theoretical. I'm not saying it's bad or it's redundant. It's still very, very relevant. We came out of those boards and we're doing just fine in life. But that one, I would say, is for parents who really want academic rigor in the child's life and they do not worry about sports and extracurriculars, or those can be enrolled off later in the day.
Hi Riddhi, you have been one of the finest child at the time of studies, and you have been an all-rounder student, which is every parent's dream. So whether it's music, it's education, it's sport or fitness, you are always fine with it, or maybe excelling in everything. So what are some tips you have for parents to ensure their child is an all-rounder child or ready for his or her best future?
Again, a question that I encounter very often: how do we make our child an all-rounder or completely smart or holistically developed child? The answer to that is a personal story of mine. When I was growing up, and so was my little brother Rishit, my dad and my mom, especially my dad, always said that education, yes, it's priority, but it comes at number 3. Number 1 and 2 are your health and a hobby. He always said fitness. If you're fit, you're healthy, you're happy. And then education is automatically taken care of. So fitness was something that we were always encouraged to do. Pursue any sport that we liked, whether it was a team sport like basketball, team or a group sport like tennis, or even a personal sport like swimming. We were encouraged to indulge in at least 45 minutes to an hour of sport every day, Monday to Sunday, no breaks, and we loved it, Rishit and I. Also, the second thing he said was passion. So I pursued music from a very young age, and the reason for that being that today now I can also sing and indulge in a lot of music with my children at school. And my brother indulged in a lot of other co-curricular activities which he excels in terms of art and drawing and painting. So I feel that we as parents don't really need to push children to excel at something. Exposure is the key word here. Give your children as much exposure in a very young age as possible. I'm not saying you have to enroll them in all the classes, but simply letting them know that these are possible hobbies that they could take up. I mean, photography, that you can do even with a mobile phone. Give your child a mobile phone and ask them to start clicking pictures. That can be done at 3 or 4. Listen to good music. Use this lockdown time more creatively, expressing and exposing your children to more artistic hobbies and passions. I think that way you will ensure that your child grows up not just good in academics, but also pursuing some fitness and some hobbies which help you develop them even in your profession further on. So yeah, that's the answer to how you can really look at an all-rounder child. And I'd just like to close this by saying, Rita, that Ikigai Global Prep School serves that purpose. We are a primary school in terms of giving not just children but also our parents a lot of exposure of different hobbies, different passions that they can pursue, and that way our children and our families will turn out to be more holistic and more all-rounded. To give you an example, we're not just going to be teaching our children math and English and science. Of course, we will be doing that because that's important in a preschool. But we're going to be teaching them life skills, how to solve your own problems, how to make decisions, how to make priorities. You will wonder, how can a 3 or a 4-year-old do this, Riddhi? Simple problems, For example, I'll walk into school one day, drenched and say, hey, it was raining and Miss Riddhi forgot her umbrella. Can you help me figure out how I can go back home without getting drenched? And I will allow all my children to come up with creative ways of going home without getting drenched. Someone might say, Miss, you can use a plastic bag to cover your head. Someone will say, Miss, why don't you borrow my umbrella and I'll travel with a friend? Someone will say, Miss, why don't you ask someone from home, your mom, to come with an umbrella? And you'll get so many different answers, and that's the first step to learning problem solving. So it's as simple as that, and that's pretty much what I want to do, Rita, with Ikigai Global Prep School. Lastly, thank you so much for having me as part of this Lock Talk. I think I will treasure this memory forever, and I hope to touch even one life through this Lock Talk and inspire them. Thank you for this opportunity. Wishing you all the best, and congratulations once again for this lovely initiative, Lock Talk.